democracy looks like. Show us what democracy looks like. Show us what democracy looks like. Show us what democracy looks like. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Every mom, every cuz. Let's see the Nancy Pelosi Club up in here. Yes. More of a man than he'll ever be, more of a woman than he'll ever get. All right, look at you beautiful people. Believe women, yes do. Pro-choice, not pro-abortion, that is correct. Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. How that goes for me too. Sierra Club, hey, animals. Big C energy. Woo, 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 woo. The players know. It's Team Mueller. Oh, Barracuda's coming for him. March on in. Sit right down. Get yourself a donut. Pass it all around. Food trucks, the best in town. I'll keep rapping till the sun goes down. Speakers are coming, I don't know where they are. Crazy bell ringing and it sounds like my car. Something's loose in there, but I'm off the topic. And now my syllabus is microscopic. Beautiful artist standing in front of me, gonna give props to Virginia. Yes, put it right there. Virginia Frierson, if you don't know who she is, she's the one who put the beautiful ceiling in Columbine for those kids to look at beautiful trees forever. She's the one who put that beautiful, beautiful Minnie Evans glass house together. And even though Airlie fired me, I still sneak over there and get in that thing.
Sorry.
That's right. Oh, they didn't fire me. They just said all the bands suddenly had PAs. P-Powers, everybody in your spot. Sun is gonna get kinda hot. Put on sunscreen if you got it. I have no plan for this. Nobody told me it was my stand for this. Where's the other performer? Where's the speaker? I don't know. I'll be a public tweaker. I'll change from distortion now. I can't read my LED because the sun's so bright on me. So who's up first? Y'all want to sing a little bit before they figure it out? This is a little song we sing about this time every year. I think I learned it when I was in the 3rd grade, so dear. Something happened in here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me every second I got to be there. I think it's time to stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. How can we help? Chemtrails being drawn. God is right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, yeah, but they're getting so much resistance from behind. Miss Cortez, stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street. It will be in a minute. Singing songs and carrying signs. Or mostly say, hooray for our side. What's wrong with that? It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep, yes it does. Into your life it will creep. Starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, some man come take you away. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, baby, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's too many things and all the bells ring. Every button pushed and here we go, ding, ding, ding. Don't let them stir you up with those same memes. Everything ain't like it seems. Somebody better come and relieve me. I'm gonna wax poetic on astrotheology. Emerald tablets of Thoth, you see, ripped off by the RC. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Laura McLean. Oh yeah. Stacy, are you about to come up here? I would like to introduce the maven of crust and also go-to player of the 910, Stacy McPherson.
Hi guys, thank you so much for coming out. Welcome. I'm Stacy. I'm a member of Women Organizing for Wilmington, and we have a really tight lineup. We're gonna have Lynn Shoemaker come up and introduce our MC today and give you a little bit of information. But we're gonna roll through this fast. It's gonna be fast and furious as in years past, and you're about to get a lot of really cool information from some amazing women.
Okay, my name is Lynn Shoemaker, and a lot of you know who I am. And I'm gonna, first I want to welcome you for being here. Obviously Mother Nature is one of us. So on March 17th, 7 years ago, WOW was formed, Women Organizing for Wilmington. The date may have had something to do with that, March 17th, that we came up with that idea. On Monday, it will mark our 100th consecutive week of demonstrating at the steps of City Hall. We started as 13 women in my backyard, and we are now closing in on 4,300 women in Wilmington. We used street theater. You've probably seen some of our paper mache puppet heads. If you haven't, they're right down here on the corner. You can look at them. Local artists make and maintain them for us. And we use it to get attention on the street corner as people pass by on buses, cars, foot, bicycle, to draw attention to the issues that are affecting women and families in our community. A lot of women are working 2 and 3 part-time jobs at poverty wages, trying to keep their families fed and under one roof. Our young people are starting entry-level jobs, or sometimes starting jobs that are beneath their skill set so that they can pay off debilitating college loans. Too many of them are still having to live at home. The issues that we try to draw them to let them know, because they don't have time to engage. They leave their jobs, they go home, they feed their children, get them in bed, and they collapse and drool on their pillow, and they wake up the next morning and they start all over again. That their SNAP is in jeopardy, their nutrition supplement. That their affordable health care is at risk, that Title IX rights are under attack, that women still are not mentioned in the Constitution, that our reproductive health rights are being encroached upon, that we have politicians crawling into our bedrooms and our doctor's offices, and that we still have not achieved equality, and not just women, but among many demographics of our community. We host a monthly book club. You can find us on Facebook, but we're here today to have leaders from our community, women, speak to you on various issues, but the underlying thread for us this year is unity in our community, that we have to stand together as a community and do what's best for our community and the people in it. And that we have to lift up those among us who have the least and who are the most vulnerable. And that we can no longer afford to stand on the sideline and watch. We stand together. We stand up together and we fight back together. WOW is proud to announce Dolores Rhodes will be our MC for the 3rd Annual Women's March and Rally in Wilmington. I don't know if Dolores remembers this or not, but she was one of those 13 women in my backyard when WOW first started. Dolores is a retired outreach liaison for the Watson College of Education at UNCW. She's a former classroom teacher, guidance counselor, principal, and assistant superintendent in school districts in Virginia, North Carolina, Massachusetts, California, Illinois, and the Department of Defense schools. And she's got a good man that stands behind her and supports her as she leads the way for women. And without further ado, here is Dolores.
I guess I better back up. Cannot go in front of that speaker. Welcome. What a great day, and we have the special weather just for you, just for us, because the man above knew that it was a day for women and women supporters to come out and sit on the steps of the federal building and say, we are women, we are men, we are anyone that supports women's rights. Now, today we have a whole litany of women from various walks of life, each of them having a passion for what they are doing. But most of all, we are here supporting each other. We are here to support each other to make progress and helping any of us that are in need. So, it is my pleasure to first introduce a new arrival in Wilmington, North Carolina. This spiritual leader that is now at the Temple of Israel came to Wilmington from Erie, Pennsylvania. She served as a rabbi there in the temple of the Sinai Reformed Temple in Bayshore. The most important thing is that she hails from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And she is blessed to have her husband right there. Reuben is supposed to be a spiritual leader as well. And his voice makes the difference in her services. And of course, he came with her. So I would like to bring up now Rabbi Emily Luspin Ostavos. and she's going to give you all the details about her life and about her work with the AIDS Foundation and the healing services for the awareness of the AIDS crisis. We are honored to have her right here in Wilmington. Rabbi Oster.
Good afternoon, everyone. As a rabbi, as a spiritual leader, this is our holy day. This is our Sabbath on Saturday. This is our Shabbat. And I can't think of a better way to celebrate our Sabbath, to celebrate our holy day, than by being with all of you and doing this holy work together. A famous rabbi said that we must learn to pray with our feet. And that's what we did today as we marched down here. We are praying with our feet. We are praying with our voices. We are praying with strength in numbers by being together. Today being our Sabbath, we would wish one another a Shabbat Shalom. So that might not be your background, but if I could encourage you to say to someone, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And when we say Shabbat Shalom to one another, we are saying we wish you a Sabbath of peace. But we cannot have a true Sabbath. We cannot have a true day of rest when we know that there are those who are suffering in our community. We cannot truly worship a Sabbath if not everyone is entitled to that. And we can't fully say shalom, which means peace, when we know that there is not peace among us. So we must become that peace. We must work to find that peace together in our hearts, in our words, and in our actions. Even as a religious leader, I know that thoughts and prayers are not enough. Thoughts and prayers can only get us to action. And we must always be moving forward, moving towards that action. As a Jew, I have known discrimination, and we have seen it this year in our country in the most horrific way possible. In fact, we've even seen discrimination towards Jews in an effort to try to promote love and peace through other marches. We cannot stand for that. As a woman, we need to know that our voice must be heard. Our prayers must lead us to action so that we can be treated equal. We can be paid equal. We can be seen as equal, and therefore truly be equal. And as humans, as brothers and sisters who are here together supporting one another, we must not just offer our thoughts and prayers, but move forward in our actions and deeds so that every human will know equality, that no one will be relegated to being a second-class citizen. We can only do this through unity, of forming community, and coming together. In the spirit of our sacred day, every day must be sacred because every day must be a day that is a call to action. And so I offer these words, which often we as Jews may pray but may even forget to pay attention to the real meaning. So we ask, to whatever higher power in which you believe, or maybe it's simply the higher power of us working together, disturb us, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty,
physical and spiritual of humans. Shock us, O God. Deny us this false sense of Sabbath which gives us the delusions of a satisfaction amid a world still full of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten prayers and songs of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your houses of worship are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Sabbath be a day for only torpor and slumber, but let it be a time to be stirred and spurred into action. May we come together as one community, man and woman of all backgrounds, all races, religions. May we come together in unity to form this community that will go forth and make sure everyone is seen as equal.
Thank you so very much. We all needed that message this morning, and I hope the message will take us through the day as we hear the next speaker. And this speaker, matter of fact, I don't even know how to start introducing her because of all the work that she's doing in Wilmington for children. She's a freelance writer, she's an editor, and who specializes in nursing and allied health. She currently serves as the editor for Rise Up Review and vice president of the Child Development Center. Now, if you want to volunteer for a center, if you want to become involved with children with disabilities, and I'm hoping the state is somewhere listening because we need money. I can't imagine why that development center is not fully financed. You have to beg for every piece of income you have. Amen. So, Abby has written so many articles that she will tell you about today. And she is a leader in women's rights, the productive health, and her focus is on children in need, children in crisis, children at the Child Development Center. I would now like to welcome Abby McCullough.
Thank you so much, Dolores, and thanks to everybody from Women Organizing for Wilmington for putting on this great event and celebrating the work of women in our community. As Dolores said, I'm currently the vice chairperson for the Child Development Center. We're located on Princess Place Drive, and we serve children with special needs ages 2 through 5 alongside their typically developing peers. We provide quality preschool services, speech, occupational and physical therapy, and an array of other services to our children and families. The funding for developmental day services like the Child Development Center has not increased in 20 years. The state funding for preschool children with special needs, moderate to severe developmental delays has not increased in 20 years. So the next time you talk to your state representatives, hi Harper, please ask them to take a look at that. I'm also here on behalf of Athenian Press and Workshops. Kalisa can't be here today. She has got the flu, but she asked me to speak on their behalf before I read a poem for you all today. Athenian Press and Workshops is an amazing nonprofit that supports and elevates the artistry of women and femme writers and spoken word artists. Athenian is an anti-racist, feminist, creative organization that adopts language as a vehicle for social change and employs writing as a way to promote resistance, self-expression, collaboration, and to find healing and power. In the spirit of Athenian and other artists of resistance who use words to find healing and to elevate the voices of others, I'd like to read to you a poem by Joy Harjo. Harjo was born in Oklahoma and is a member of the Muskogee Nation. This poem, for calling the spirit back from wandering the earth in its human feet, provides instructions for radical self-care in dark times. You can find it online at poets.org. For calling the spirit back from wandering the earth in its human feet. Put down that bag of potato chips, the white bread, and that bottle of pop. Turn off your cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door, then close it behind you. Take a breath offered by friendly winds. They travel the earth gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars, ears, and back. Acknowledge this earth who has cared for you since you were a dream planning itself precisely within your parents' desire. Let your moccasin feet take you to the encampment of the guardians who have known you from before time, who will be there after time. They sit before the fire that has been without time. Let the earth stabilize your post-colonial jitters. Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry. The heart knows the way, though there may be high-rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves. The journey may take you a few hours, a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regrets. When you find your way to the circle to keep the fire burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. You must clean yourself with cedar, sage, or other healing plant. Cut the ties you have to failure or shame. Let go the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, bird, element, angel, saint, stone, ancestor. Call your spirit back. It may be caught in corners and creases of shame, judgment, and abuse. You must call in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost for so long. Your spirit will need to sleep a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes. And now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Start with everybody here. Keep room for those who have no place to go. Make a giveaway and remember to keep those speeches short. then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark.
All right. It's interesting that Abby gave me the perfect lead-in statement to introduce the next speaker. This person that will come before you next, you know it's a woman, comes from Alamance County, North Carolina, from a very humble beginning. She was a Head Start student, and she found out very quickly that the way to move up the socioeconomic ladder and the way to touch the souls of many students was by working in education. And she's proven to be an excellent, excellent principal. Miss Holland, Krista Holland, comes to us. She came to us, I cannot remember when she came, but I remember she had come from the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, where she had just gotten her master's degree in educational organization and leadership. But that wasn't enough. She came down here and wanted to get into UNCW to get that master's degree in school administration. Job well done. That didn't stop her. She immediately started serving students at the middle school principal. Then she became a director of the pre-K Head Start, and she was principal as well. But guess what? She went on from one school to another, and she will tell you. But now she is principal of Anderson Elementary School. Anderson Elementary School. But the part that I like best is that she was principal of the year for the year 2018-19 in New Hanover County. Principal of the year. So you know she has now developed into a leadership position, not only with her students, but with her peers, and the families in New Hanover County depends on Mrs. Crystal Holland. And by the way, she is working on her doctorate. She keeps going, and that's good. Educators are lifetime learners. We don't stop. And it is my humble privilege, because we came from the same humble beginnings, to introduce Crystal Holland.
Good afternoon. Girl power is a beautiful thing, right? I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about the importance of education, equity in education, access, and the need for adequate funding and resource allocation. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Our lives begin to end the moment we become silent about things that matter." Well, my friends, education matters. For many, including myself, it is the cracked window, the cracked door that opens up a multitude of opportunities. And every child deserves to have cracked windows and open doors so that they can lead and live better lives. I want to encourage you to begin to shift our mindsets. So many times we think about what we have to do. We have to go to work. We have to pay bills. We have to, for our young people, do chores. Have to has a negative connotation. It's laborious, right? But when you think about the opportunities that are afforded us today, we get to pursue an education. Ladies, young people, we get to do things that in a lot of other places in the world, people just don't get to do. So we need to shift our mindsets from the things that we have to do and look for opportunities for what we get to do. When we think about the avenues for education and all of the different ways that are available to us, whether you support public education, private, public charter, homeschooling, all of the online platforms, we get to better ourselves, and it doesn't matter our age. Where is it that you can decide at a certain age that you want to learn something and then it's right there? We have those opportunities. But when we look at our community, there's work to do. When you think about equity and you look at where we live and school grades, there are several schools in our community who are considered schools that have a grade of an A or a B. And we have other schools in our community who have grades of D and F. And have we ever wondered or taken the time to think about what makes one school on one side of town an A and what makes other schools considered a D or an F? Well, we know test scores come into play, but I like to say that a test score will never tell our entire story of a school. Test scores are not meant to grade and place and label our children, yet they do. So we have to begin to have conversations with our state legislators about the amount of testing that our children are enduring, the amount of anxiety that we are creating by testing them so heavily, beginning in kindergarten, but especially increasing once they enter third grade. And we understand assessment. We understand that there must be some level of accountability, but there has to be a balance. And I would encourage you to go out and visit our schools so that you can see what's going on in a school that's labeled an A. What does it look like demographically, socioeconomically? How do those schools look who have much lower grades socioeconomically and demographically? I guarantee you, if you go out there and investigate, you'll see some differences. And what can we do about it? Let's hold our legislators accountable for ensuring that all of our children have equitable access to the same high-quality education. When we think about decisions that the state has made, there are some unintended consequences for all of us. The field of education is dominated by females. However, when you look at some of the decisions that have been made impacting pay and compensation, impacting tenure, when we have educators who choose to pursue additional education, a master's degree or higher, they are no longer paid for that. When we have educators who have chosen to stay in the profession, they no longer receive longevity pay for their loyalty to the profession. There are some unintended consequences as a result of the decisions that our legislators are making. And unfortunately, we're going to be looking for teachers. Children are still coming. When I see little ones coming into my school every day, I call that hashtag job security, right? But we're going to be looking for people to provide an education to our children because we're losing some of our highest quality teachers to other professions just so that they can live the lifestyle that they desire. We have to hold our legislators accountable for making adjustments in some of those decisions because we're paying for that right now. There's another issue that I want to bring to your attention, and it's related to girls. There's a body of research, and we hear about STEM and STEAM careers. However, there's a body of research that is demonstrating that once our girls enter middle and high schools, they are choosing not to enroll in higher level science and math courses. There's a dwindling enrollment there, and this is nationally. And we have to make some adjustments and encourage our girls that they are just as smart and they can excel and they can succeed in the math and sciences so that they can compete and be ready for all of those technical and STEM and science related careers and opportunities that are available to them. Girls can do and will do, but they're depending on us as adults to encourage and support them in that. I have to admit that we're very fortunate here in New Hanover County. We are resource rich. We have a strong tax base. We have strong partnerships with the city government, with law enforcement, with the county government. And so that has led to some improvements in early childhood education. I am sad to learn about the lack of funding for special needs children in early childhood, and we need to address that. We have strong partnerships with our law enforcement, which has led to safer environments with resource officers in our schools. We have more nursing support services. We don't share nurses in our schools like that's happening in some of our surrounding counties. Every school has a nurse in New Hanover County schools. We also have mental health services here. So we are very fortunate. But as you know, if you're sitting here, you don't just advocate for where you live. If all means all, then we speak up and we advocate for what's going on around us. And in surrounding counties and across this state, the tax base in several of our communities does not afford children to have the same access to the resources that we have available to us. And our legislators not only represent us here, but they serve regionally, some of them. So we need to have conversations with them to ask them not only what are you doing here, but how is everyone across our region and across the state benefiting? Because at the end of the day, education changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my life. I had strong teachers, and I had teachers who said to me, I know you're feisty, girl. Oh, and I know you don't always do your best work, but I believe you can. I know you can. And because I know you can and I believe you can, I'm going to hold you accountable for doing that. Change the trajectory of my life. And because I had strong and quality educators, I began to believe and dream that I could live a life beyond my zip code. And isn't that what we want for all of our children, regardless of where they live? We want them to dream and believe that they can live lives beyond their zip codes. And so Dr. King encouraged us to begin to speak and stand. And yes, we get to do that. But we're at a point in our world today where we have to. We have to begin to speak and stand up for those children who don't have anyone speaking or standing up for them. So I'm going to thank you in advance for getting out there, speaking to our local leaders and our regional and state leaders, and holding them accountable for doing what's right for all children. Thank you for empowering children to dream and live beyond their zip codes. Thank you.
Now, while the words of Crystal are right in your mind, all of the girls out there, all of the young women that you know that want to have leadership positions in their schools, that want to be part of scientific movement, technological advances, the school that I highly recommend is the Girls Leadership Academy in Wilmington. They're doing it all. And one thing that I like about the school, as one of the board members, I like the school because parents are involved. Parents are involved. And the mission is every girl that comes through that door will go to college. And we drill that. You will go to college. And that is so important. So now I'm going to turn this over to one of my wild buddies here that has a special announcement. All right? Okay. There you are. Just
All right. Hi, I'm Mittens. Was that too loud? Okay. All righty.
I'm here to announce Kristen McKeithen is a homegrown Wilmingtonian, 5th generation. She rose to the encouragement of her parents to become an independent and self-assured woman. After college, she hit the Big Apple, working for acclaimed actors, pop stars, and philanthropists as their personal assistant. She served as liaison to their boards in such organizations as the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, the Metropolitan Opera, the New York City Opera, and the like. She was a go-between for her employers and organizations supporting the arts. After 15 years in Manhattan and Brooklyn, she came home to Wilmington. She jumped right in as a good neighbor, volunteering and advocating for schools and organizations in need. And this is where I need your help, because I'm going to be naming all the organizations that Kristen has helped or volunteered at, and I want you to shout out when you hear an organization that you've been involved with. So since returning to her North Side roots, she has supported and volunteered with DC Virgos PTA, Dreams and the Forest of Dreams mural, the Blue Ribbon Commission on the Prevention of Youth Violence, the Community Boys and Girls Club, J.C. Rowe Elementary School, Girls Leadership Academy of Wilmington, Northside Food Strategy Task Force, Support the Port, and was a founding member of Voyage Community Council, also advising their Youth Leadership Council. She is currently serving the community via the Wilmington Rotary Club, the NAACP, Cape Fear River Watch, the Community Relations Advisory Committee for the city and county, and board member of the Thalian Association Community Theater. Thank you. Kristen's enthusiastic volunteerism and advocacy is noteworthy. She was nominated as Woman of Achievement in the volunteer category by the YWCA of the Lower Cape Fear. She now works at the Y, supporting their mission to eliminate racism and to empower women. Last year, she received the Martin Luther King Jr. Committee's Distinguished Citizen Award. But Kristen wanted to do more for her community. She founded a volunteer group called Good Works. It is a group of helping neighbors who literally do good work. They pick up where local and state resources end. They match volunteers and donated resources to needs. If you have an extra refrigerator, they make sure it reaches the elderly woman who needs it. If you know how to repair a roof, you will be directed to a family without the money to repair their hurricane-damaged home. Kristen is not just a facilitator, though. She is mucker extraordinaire. After the storm, after the flooding water, homes were left filled with sludge. Kristen wades right in, getting it done, repeatedly. Kristen sees storm recovery as an opportunity to build relationships. She believes that politics should never enter into public service. She has made caring and serving, regardless of political and socioeconomic differences, a priority in her life. WOW could not agree more. We too believe that Wilmington has an incredible opportunity in the aftermath of Hurricane Florence to put the unity back into our community by helping others. WOW is delighted to announce that our 2019 Woman of the Year is Kristen McKeithen.
I feel so very fortunate anytime I get the opportunity to participate in our community with any of this incredible sisterhood of fiercely strong women called Women Organizing for Wilmington. This positive and supportive energy of so many of you here today with your families is tremendous. From the time I moved back to my hometown of Wilmington at the end of 2015, I felt like I had gone backwards a few decades in a time warp here. Quickly, I gravitated to one sister and then would discover another and other like-minded friends. And I found a treasure chest of brilliant and strong women when I discovered, wow. I am here to tell you a few years later in 2019 that this town is finally starting to move forward with every act of good we've got. I come to you today with a personal story I have been searching for the right opportunity to share. As hard as this president has fought to build a wall, I beg you to work on knocking them down with me in our own lives in the aftermath of the 2016 election. Somehow, this president is not only causing huge divides around our country, but right here in our own hearts, and many times we just do not even realize it. My father was a supporter of this president, and it broke my heart. I looked up to him so very much my whole life, and suddenly realized now as an adult, I have become a female version of him, but on the other side. It was pretty funny that our debates were really him facing that he was arguing with himself. I could not get my head around the fact that this man who had inspired me always lifted me up, encouraged and protected me, and told me the sky was the limit if I worked hard, could ever stand behind a monster like this. I became so passionate opposing this party and despising every single thing that they and he stood for, that the hate he has so diligently been trying to spread throughout the nation finally got the best of my own heart, simply hating him and blocking out anyone in my life who supported him, including my dad. I completely shut him out of my life from the time this monster ran for office. Day by day and month by month of 2016, I subconsciously kept letting Trump build a wall between us that kept growing higher and longer. A year and a few months passed that I refused to speak to my dad, and then suddenly, on the 1st of March 2017, I turned on my phone to find out that my dad had a massive stroke, and he passed in the wee hours the next morning. I had thought, like so many kids, that my dad and our parents are invincible, and he had so much time left. We had just been in the ring fighting longer this time around, both refusing to back down from our powerful stands on our different political points of view. But I had held on to the belief before he passed that the president would get impeached soon enough and our fighting would stop and we would be back to our normal selves again. Suddenly losing my father in the middle of a fight is the hardest lesson I have ever had to learn in my life. I can never get that time back that this president took from us, and it is too late for me to break down that wall that the president had encouraged me to build between us. As I looked down on my dad unconscious in the emergency room, I yelled at him, "I hate you for voting for Trump. Why did you do this to us?" Because I loved him so very much. Every day since he died, I have been processing this regret and the guilt I carry that I killed him by being so cruel, shutting him out of my life for so long when we were very, very close. I was a daddy's girl for sure before that election. 2017 to 2018 was the most challenging to me and my boyfriend Greg. That Thanksgiving we decided we were no longer going to be sad and miserable about so many things out of our control that had broken our hearts. And that is how Good Works began. There were just so many injustices happening nationally and in Wilmington, even right on our own street, that we decided what we did have control over was spreading love and good in our little corner of Wilmington however we could. We were not going to let anger and sadness take over our souls any longer, and we were going to take action in our own backyard of the North Side. I had been participating up until that point in as many community groups and activities as I could, but we wanted to hit the pavement literally and physically to start helping our neighbors, also being advocates for them at the same time to draw attention to their stories and what beautiful people live all around us. We had gotten to the lowest point in our lives and had to believe that good works, because it does. I am half a Brooklyn woman and New Yorker, so I wanted to continue spreading love from Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights to my hometown. And every New Yorker knows, if you see something, say something. And we have been doing just that here. I am a very straight talker and will keep it real with you, and there are just so many injustices everywhere here. This past year has been overwhelming and exhausting, and I have never been this driven not to give up or back down and put up a good fight for what is right. I may have taken on too much, but I would do it all over again to be a tiny part of making any progress in Wilmington right now. Good Works began as neighbors helping neighbors to fill in the gaps of those that were still not being served around us, despite all of the resources out there that were supposed to be helping them. Good Works organizes teams of volunteers to help our neighbors primarily around the north side, but other parts of town too, in any way we can. We rally businesses and skilled contractors to give the gift of their support and encourage individuals that we can make a difference in the lives of others around us. We collect donations of gently used furniture and appliances and deliver them into the homes of those we are serving, along with groceries, clothing, and basic needs. What we know is that our community is made stronger through action and labor. We don't just talk, we walk. You don't have to come to us, we will come to you. Our top mission is to deliver love to others, to lift their spirits up by the actions of teams of neighbors who care, and to build relationships and trust over time to make our community stronger together. Kindness is contagious, and we hope you do this in your very own neighborhoods too. Greg and I are simply connectors. When we find someone in need, we try to connect them to resources and goods donated by friends who want to help and care about them. Florence packed a powerful punch when she hit us. We were helping neighbors prepare prior to her arrival, running around to check on our elderly during the eye of the storm, and we hit the pavement running right after she passed, taking action with our friends and partners, Rachel and Randy Fox of the Fox's Boxes, bringing relief to the north side, and we haven't really stopped running since. We advocated about what we were seeing on the ground of the enormous differences with how the government and larger groups were not serving the north and south side the same as the other areas. Once the river receded, we immediately went with my mom to assess the damage that was done to our flooded family house, and we mucked it first, trying to attempt to do it with the same love and care my dad had always done after Floyd and Matthew. And then we started looking for any neighbors' homes with people there working to see how we could help them. My father thought of Pender all of my life as nature's sanctuary, calling it the promised land. As I mentioned before, I cannot get time back with my dad, but what I do have right now is just this, now and today. Since September, we have gone as hard as we possibly can outside of our full-time jobs, trying to help as many as we can with whatever resources we have or labor we can give to them in storm recovery, especially in Pender County for my dad. I knew that the majority of our neighbors there were Trump supporters, and maybe I could finally extend an olive branch, so to speak, and make every effort to tear down the walls that this president has caused us to build between each other. We all had just survived a disaster, and for the first time, we've needed to put politics aside and completely out of conversation and start helping one another again, because it's simply the right thing to do. These past few months have been mind-blowing, to say the least. We have witnessed so much devastation and continued discrimination. We have done the very best we can, and I am still working hard, mucking and delivering supplies to honor my dad in this area he loves so very much, and do it in the way he cared for it and rose after every storm in the aftermath. And I'm determined not to let him down, and also build relationships back again to find our commonalities and not our differences. If all we have accomplished as Good Works is introducing volunteers to neighbors they never knew to become friends in their supportive efforts, and later even becoming family, like the many relationships we have found in our neighborhood, then we have done good. One block at a time, one community at a time, one city or county at a time. With one another, with one city or county at a time, we hope we are going to connect more with one another than find divides. And we will call out injustices when we see them and be a voice for and with our neighbors. I beg you not to let this president ruin any more relationships. Wow, every single one of you, I'm talking about the Wow Sisterhood. Wow, every single one of you are my sheroes and an inspiration in all that you do. I cannot thank you enough for allowing me to join forces in this resisterhood. Your determination, not just every Monday at lunch, through good and bad weather, but all that you do year-round is amazing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this recognition. I want to thank my dad for making me tough as nails, but warm on the inside too. My mom, who always taught me to find the rainbow connection with others, along with her students. I will absolutely continue to do so now, to find the rainbow connection in others. Greg Pampel, you are my rock. I am so lucky to have found someone with a passion to serve others as much as I do, and I appreciate every single sacrifice you have made so that we could keep up the good work. Thank you for always encouraging me and lifting me up, marching by my side, and also, as many of you know, thank you for being the calmest, nicest, kindest person I've ever met, to counter me being so fired up and ready to go since you met me. I am truly up here right now also because of the many volunteers, friends, and family who have sweated and mucked and served by our sides as a team over the past year completing projects. You are the real magic and hope in Wilmington. To those we have served, we cherish each and every one of you and your families and are most grateful for the opportunity to help you. You are our family. And all of the women here today, thank you to each and every one of you for all of the hard work you are doing to make Wilmington better each day. We see you and you fuel all of us to keep on. I leave you with this: what good shall I do this day? And Ubuntu, I am because we are, with all, for all. Thank you so much.
So I'm just going to give a little bit of housekeeping, but I think another round of applause for Kristen because she embodies what we should all do this year. WOW has a table set up over here if you get a chance during fabulous speakers and musicians, and we got a killer lineup still behind us. Everything you buy down there, cash or card, goes back into the community. We've adopted 60 families who live in a food desert in a low-wealth area, and we're supplying them with school supplies and healthy snacks because they don't have a nearby grocery store, and so that's what this will go for. And I just want to give one more shout out for the Fox's Boxes. In case you didn't know, it's a woman co-owned restaurant with a culinary chef extraordinaire. Great job. And that they give back to our community through an 8-week externship where they teach low-wealth, low-skilled workers and workers who have a difficult time finding jobs because they might have been incarcerated for small petty crimes. They teach them skills that make them employable, and they help them find jobs where they can support themselves and their families. They're also really uber eco-friendly. I don't know if you've ever eaten there, but you have recyclable products, even cute little wooden spoons and knives.
Okay, now we are ready to have a little music. There is a couple that I follow throughout Wilmington. You have Cara Schabel. Cara, come over here, honey. And you have Jay Kimball. Cara and Jay can make it happen. Listen up and relax. All right, Jay, you can start stroking.
Thanks for having us. We're really honored to be here. We're going to do a couple tunes for you guys. Feel free to sing along, dance along, feel it however it moves you. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Thank you. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? Less than 1 minute old. I never thought that I'd be making on as lovely as she. But isn't she lovely? Made from love. Isn't she pretty? Truly the angel's best. Boy, I'm so happy, oh, and we have been heaven blessed. I can't believe what God has done. Through life, He's given life to one that's so very lovely, made from love. Isn't she lovely? Life and love are the same. Life is Aisha, the meaning of her name. Honey could have not been done without you who conceived the one that's so very lovely, made from love. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. What a beautiful voice. And we just did the history of the blackbirds on our well page too. So we do have some dignitaries out here with us, and they have quietly stood in shadows and out of the way because they, like we, are celebrating you today. But I would like to recognize that Senator Harper Peterson is here. Mayor Pro Tem Margaret Haynes is here. County Commissioner Rob Zappel is here. And School Board Member Judy Justice is here.
All right, let's move this right along now. We have someone that really is making a difference in Wilmington. Someone that immigrated from El Salvador in pursuit of the American dream. You have someone that grew up without much, but realized that education would make the difference. She finished her bachelor's degree in communications and she did a minor in leadership. In the last year, she has developed a love for photography, and she has turned her experiences and struggles as a mother into a blog that says, "No Mess Mama Bear." No Mess Mama Bear. She has a career as a training coordinator with Sunbelt Rentals. So, now she's a mother. She is a true educator that works hard every day to make sure that her son and other women are empowered to help move the country and the world to the next level. All of us working together. It is not one. It is all of us. Regardless of where you're from, we all are one. All of us came here at different stages of life, but now we're one. One. United as one. It is my pleasure to now introduce Brenda Carolina Brooks.
Al final del día, podemos soportar mucho más de lo que creemos que podemos. At the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can. This quote to me embodies the very essence of being a woman. You might recognize it as it is from the infamous Frida, a Latina woman whose inspiration is long felt even after her absence. That type of powerful attitude is something I know very well. My name is Brenda Brooks, formerly Brenda Rebollo, and I am a proud second-generation Salvadorian immigrant. Thank you. I have seen firsthand the warrior spirit that Latina women have as they come to this country in hopes to chase their dreams of safety, education, and liberty for their families. That pursuit to happiness and freedom is what empowered me and helped me push further than the boundaries set before me. To pursue my education and get a degree from UNCW, and to be a contributing member of society. Without a doubt, that fighting spirit was instilled in me from my Salvadorian mother. And it is something I believe was necessary, as growing up, my family and I were very much a statistic. Studies show that a quarter of all Latinas live below poverty, and a staggering half are at a near poverty level. There is no doubt this is in correlation that 1 in 5 Latina women has not completed high school by the age of 29. We're the least likely women to get a college degree when you compare the 19% to the 44% of white women. You throw in the fact that Latina women are predominantly in low-income jobs due to the education gap, it has created a crippling, vicious poverty cycle. Not only are we overcoming these circumstances, but we're also dealing with those that try to knock us down by using fear tactics that only criminals are coming into this country, justifying and denying our right as humans to pursue a better life for our families. And we all agree that safety for our families is something normal people worry about. But we can tackle these issues without dehumanizing our people. Because we are here. Historically, we have been here. We aren't going anywhere. The fact that I stand here before you is proof that immigrants willing to risk their lives simply want a chance at the American dream. As you all know, our nation is going through tribulating times since the current administration's only plausible solution to our many, many immigration issues we face is pitching a fit about a money pit wall. The fact that we have to fight to keep families together makes it seem like this administration wants to continue dehumanizing undocumented immigrants. But whether you're on the right or the left side of this debate, it is time to embrace us and strive towards creating solutions that will benefit us all. We need to support programs such as DACA that create pathways for those who are contributing to our society. We must let government officials know that we will be heard, because at 54 million, we are now the largest ethnic minority in this country. And according to a study, we Latinas in 2060 will be a third of the female population. And yes, we have many bridges to gap, especially for Latinas, education, equal pay, because currently we're the lowest in the pay gap. We're at 53%. 53%. Let that number sink into you. Healthcare access, and so much more. But we will not give up, porque somos capaces, somos fuertes, y somos mujeres. We must continue to be involved for our children's education, getting involved in our communities with programs such as this, and helping those who need it most. Vote for what is right and have our voices heard. Encourage your Latina women to rise up, because we have, in the last decade, raised high school graduations for them for 14%. We've raised our representation in better paying white-collar jobs, increased Latina-owned businesses, and even added $71 billion to the economy in 2014, but we're not done yet. Entonces, mis mujeres, my women, no matter what role you play, whether you be a mother, a daughter, a tia, abuelita, a businesswoman, I urge you to knock down barriers. Embrace coming together despite our differences that separate us. Our daughters and sons need us now more than ever to lead by example, as they are the men and women of tomorrow. Continue pushing through so this equality we fight for will one day be true for us all. We will persist and resist porque somos mujeres. Gracias.
Right on. That's exactly what we need. All right, now I'm going to bring you a local girl, someone that grew up right here in Wilmington, someone that was taught by her brother Stacy Jackson to sing. Someone that has been involved with women's marches, someone that wants to make a difference in the restaurants when she spreads the good word about what she's doing. She's also she plays a lot at Wrightsville Beach Brewery. So she is a true musician. I would like to bring to you now. All right, here we are, Emily Merritt.
Well, I wasn't prepared for this. I can hear his heartbeat for 1,000 miles, and the heavens open every time he smiles. When I come to him, swear I belong. away my trouble, yeah, takes away my grief, takes away my heartache, coming out just like a thief. He gives me love, 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 crazy love. He gives me love, 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 crazy love. And I need him in the daytime, and I need him in the night, and I wanna throw my arms around him and kiss him, hug him tight. I am returning from so far away. Gives me such sweet loving, yeah, brightens up my day. And it makes me righteous, don't you know? It makes me whole, and it makes me mellow down to my very soul. It gives me love, 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 crazy love. It gives me love, 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 crazy love. Give me love, 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 give me crazy love. Give me love, give me love, give me love, give me love, give me crazy love. I think I hit the volume or something.
Yes, you can stop.
Thank you.
You can stop or you can go and come again.
I'm done.
No. You know what?
Thank you very much.
We have this right here. I guess while we have this break here, I would like to ask Sonia Benetone to come down for just a minute so folks can see you and know that you are making a difference for families in North Carolina. She works behind the scene with the North Carolina Black Caucus, keeping the eyes on what's happening in Raleigh. And that is what we need. Thank you, Sonia Benetone. My sister, you're doing a good job. Now, let's get back to the program. And the next person is a youth director for the little chapel on the boardwalk, the Presbyterian Church right there in Wrightsville Beach. She is a strong advocate for social justice issues. I've met her many times, and each time I come away thinking she has a lot to share. And she says one verse that I say all the time, that we need to take care of the least of these. I am nothing unless I can reach out to the least of these. And I don't know how one can sleep when they don't do that. I would like to bring Emily Donovan to you. She is the co-founder of Stand Up Brunswick. She's doing a lot from the grassroots. You won't see it, but she's educating women. She's focusing on empowerment and social justice issues. She's doing so much. And you're right, we're nothing until we touch the souls of the least of these. And with that said, let me introduce again. Clean Cape Fear, Emily Donovan. Clean Cape Fear.
Good afternoon. I'm also co-founder of Clean Cape Fear. We are an alliance of advocacy groups working to take on Comores and the pollution of PFAS, toxic chemicals in our drinking water. Today I'm going to speak to you wearing my Clean Cape Fear hat. Last year, we learned 99% of Wilmington residents who participated in the Gen X exposure study had a chemical called Nathian byproduct 2 in their blood. 99%. This is not normal. It is not normal for participants in a single study to have all 99% of them with the same toxic chemicals swirling in their blood. This chemical is in our bodies without our consent. This chemical is just one of 15 other PFAS chemicals found in the blood of Wilmington residents. If you leave here today and only remember one thing, remember this. PFAS are bad. PFAS are permanently freakish, altering stuff. Permanently because these chemicals live forever. Freakish because nowhere on this earth do these chemicals occur in nature. They are 100% completely man-made. Altering stuff because they are endocrine disruptors. They get stuck in our bodies and alter our development at a cellular level. This is not normal. Gen X was just 12% of the total PFAS found in our drinking water. That is not normal. All these safe drinking water levels that we hear about, they apply to babies born with clean blood. The problem with PFAS is that mothers transfer these toxic chemicals to their babies in concentrated amounts during pregnancy. These safe levels don't apply to babies born with PFAS already in their blood. The safe level for any child born in an area already contaminated is 0. We are a contaminated community, and this is not normal. Last year, Clean Cape Fear went to Washington, D.C., and we testified at the first ever congressional hearing on PFAS contamination. You know who didn't show up to that hearing? Our own Congressman, Representative David Rouser. Just last week, Congress formed a PFAS task force, and Representative Rouser was not on that list either. I guess this is how you lead when you're a state senator who gets to draw new congressional districts with such mathematical certainty you are guaranteed to win when you later run for Congress, because that's what's happened in North Carolina in 2010. We need our federal, state, and local governments all working together to protect our babies and protect our drinking water. Clean, toxic-free drinking water is not a Republican or a Democrat issue, it is a human issue. It is not normal for 1 in 4 of my youth at my church to have parents suffering from some form of cancer while they're in their 30s and 40s. It is not normal for my daughter's best friend to have to watch her mother, grandmother, and grandfather all suffer from non-genetic, aggressive, and/or rare cancers. It is not normal that my own husband battled a brain tumor and thyroid cancer while his identical twin, who doesn't live in this region, remained healthy. We need Congress to fund a nationwide PFAS human exposure study today. We need the EPA to begin rodent toxicology on all known PFAS chemicals. We need our state lawmakers to work with our governor and DEQ to end the spread of PFAS in all our communities. We need every local public utility nationwide to regularly test for all PFAS in their drinking water, not just 2. And we need Congress to deny all federal contracts, including defense contracts, to chronic PFAS polluters like DuPont, 3M, and Comores. If these companies can't play by the rules, they don't deserve our tax dollars. I thank you so much for your time. Things that you can do to stay aware and to stay connected. You can follow Clean Cape Fear on Facebook and Twitter at Clean Cape Fear. You can check our website at cleancapefear.com. You can also show up, continue to show up to city council meetings, utility board meetings, state legislative committee meetings. federal appeals and federal public comment periods. When you do these things, when you stay engaged, this is how we continue to have our voices heard, because public outcry is the only way to move the needle on this issue. And I thank you so much today for your time.
Thank you so much. I keep forgetting which mic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Donovan. You made a difference and a reminder to all of us to just say, get involved and keep your eyes open with our environment. I would now like to relax the group a little bit and get some energy, because I don't want you to roam away today. I want you to stay with us. The weather is so beautiful, the food is vibrant and delicious, so sit back and relax. Think of the work of Nancy Pelosi. Think of the work that she's done for us. And I'd like to give a shout out to, it's funny, I saw this lady said on television, she said to Trump, Miss Nancy is not going to give you a wall. And I thought that was so right on. Our Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, deserves a lot of praise and support. A lot of praise and support. All right, so Jill, we're ready for your group, Whirl Peas. It's an acoustic trio with 3 different harmonies that you will hear as they are playing. They cover music, and it will all focus on the environmental issues, inequality in society, and you will recognize other lyrics as they play. With that said, thank you, Jill, for lining us up. And thank you, Whirl Peas, for being with us today. And without further ado, here they are, Whirl Peas.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, we're Whirl Peas.
Trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, 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 whoa. These times are poignant, the winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. I'm made of thunder, I'm made of lightning, I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust and this world was made for me. So let's go and try our luck, said I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. So what are we doing here? What has been done? What are you gonna do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. Put us all together, make a mighty roar. I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Thank you. Serpents gliding, nothing revealed. Fruit bat circles, I believe it's my beginning. Whoa, gone are those winters and gone are those days. Gone are those choices to be recklessly brave. I'm guided by angels, decided by choice, it's my beginning. Whoa, I believe, I believe, I believe. Oh, we're young, we can fly, we are free. Oh, take a chance and see. Oh, I believe, come believe with me. Oh, honeymoon waters and honeymoon bay, safe to assume now we're on our way. Turtles, mingly rose, it's our beginning. Oh, dreaming stories etched into stone. Time to dream now and create our own. We're guided by angels, decided by choice, it's our beginning. Oh, I believe, I believe, I believe. Oh, we're young, we can fly, we are free. Oh, take a chance and see. Oh, I believe, come believe with me. Oh, we were going to do one more. We're going to do one more.
Jill, you all are so good. I hope that you're getting lots of invitations to perform around Wilmington because I could have listened to you all afternoon. I saw a little movement in the street with some of our folks that are listening today. They were into it, and I was into it as well.
You can find World Peace on Facebook. Thank you.
Okay, on Facebook, World Peace. What a name, but I love it. Okay, a few moments ago, I kind of saw someone sitting in the crowd that I thought should get ready. And so now I just saw her bounce across the street. I don't know where she thinks she's going. It is my pleasure to introduce a woman that continues to fight for change, fight for social justice, fight for a medical and education system to improve services for the disabled and people in poverty. She is relentless and she's persevering in her efforts to make a difference for all people. Sonia Benetone Patrick. I'm sure you've heard the name. She's a community organizer. She is one of the organizers for Black Lives Matter, and she's involved in the state with the National Black Leadership Caucus. And that's where she's making a lot of work because she's focusing on issues in North Carolina. She's focusing on the 1898 massacre and the coup, the only coup in the United States happened right here in Wilmington. So she's working on that as well. So without further ado, let me bring to you Sonia Benetone Patrick. Come on down, wild sister.
Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters from another mother. How y'all doing this afternoon? That one's having a weird thing. Get it right in. Okay. I'd like to give the organizer of this event a big round of applause, Lynn Shoemaker, my sister, and the women organizing women. Give them a big round of applause. And to my other sister, our MC Dolores Rose, let's give her another round of applause. And she does a lot of work too. A lot of work, and she's made a difference in the community as well, and we do appreciate her service. First of all, I'd like to give honor to God, Netta, to be here today. And women, nobody would be here today if it wasn't for a woman. There would be no human race without a woman. And there's only one race, the human race. And this race started on the continent of Africa. So in life, we have more in common, all of us, than what we realize. Because it's in Africa where civilization began. And in Africa, there was balance between male and female. Because when you had balance, there was life. And that's why a lot of us are here today. The last 600 years, things have changed. We've been controlled by white supremacy government who has no regards for humanity. We live in a society where there's no regard for humanity. When our president and his administration would take food off the table of working class Americans for a wall we don't need or can't afford. We live in a society where there's no regard for humanity when unarmed black men, women, and children are killed by law enforcement and no one held accountable. The 1898 massacre, right here in this very city. 2013, Brandon Smith shot 27 times unarmed in this city. And next door in Brunswick County, Brandon Webster shot by a state trooper because of a traffic violation. We demand that this system change. And we also demand justice for Harmon Farmer, alleged victim of police brutality. We live in a society where there's no regard for humanity, when women are violated, mistreated unequally. We live in a society where there's no regard for humanity with the attacks of healthcare, the environment. We live in a society where there's no regard for humanity when our children are not safe in our classrooms, and our families are not safe in our churches, and our legislators refuse to change the gun laws. That is why we had to vote some of those immoral legislatures out in the last election. But we still got some work to do, but we got rid of some of them. This past election, we had to make some harmony. Just like a piano keyboard, it takes ebony and ivory to make harmony. And with this ebony and ivory, we caught the blue wave here. However, we're disappointed that the vote ID amendment passed, which is going to cost taxpayers $30 million. Now that's a new kind of stupid, because we need $30 million for education, for affordable housing, for clean water, for our environment, for hurricane relief. Will be a better use of those $30 million. And there's no evidence of voter fraud, because if you ever did to get out to vote, it's hard enough to get the people to the polls once, let alone twice. We live in a society where there's no regard for humanity, when historically there's been imposed slavery, massacre, systematic racism, and 50 years after the assassination of Dr. King, we're still fighting the same battle. However, giving up is not an option. We live in a society where there's no regard for humanity, when there's more aggression toward a black man in a traffic violation than a white man who does massacres, shootings in our classrooms, in the movies, and in our churches. However, King taught us and our ancestors taught us never to give up. That's not an option. No matter what comes our way, there's an army rising up who believes in justice, and I believe all of you here are part of that army. The army rose up and went to the polls and cast a vote in November. Yes, I believe Auntie Maxine and Congressional Black Leadership Caucus, who's been a voice for all Americans, are part of that army. The people we put in office make decisions that control our lives, and the army is getting ready for 2020. Are you ready for 2020? This army is unlike any other army. We'll hold our legislators accountable. No more business as usual. And I feel like all of us here today are part of that army of resistance and persistence. An army of righteousness, so we can stand against the evil days known as the Trump administration. This army consists of all generations, spreading love, joy, justice from the north, south, east, and west. Want to know, what can I do to make things better? There's an army rising up, and giving up is not an option, and we're not taking any prisoners. We will resist. When they will not stop this immoral shutdown, we will resist. When they refuse to protect our children, we will resist. And as long as Trump is in office, we will resist. I can't hear you. We will. We will. Thank you for listening. See you in 2020.
She always brings me to my feet. So I saw that House Representative Deb Butler was joining us. With a bag of bras.
There's one woman that I met about 10 years ago that was getting this organization started in Wilmington called Grandmothers for Peace. Whenever she approached me, I thought she was approaching me because I looked so old. And she said, no, 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 we're all grandmothers. Someone that makes a difference. She is now the coordinator of the Southeastern North Carolina chapter of Grandmothers for Peace. She is committed to fight discrimination. She's committed to be aware of social injustices that have negative impact upon our families in this area. She's done a lot of work and continues to do a lot of work. Now, where are you, Lynn Heritage? I'm looking for you right now. There you are. She has longer hair now, I must tell you that. I know.
Hi. Hello. It's good to be here again. Third time around. So a huge shout out to Lynn Shoemaker and all the incredible women from WOW that we're doing this again. I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of us. Another huge shout out to all of you who showed up. Even if you're wandering around, at least you're here. That's very important if we have any hope of getting where we want to be, that we all do this together. When you think about it, what better place than to be here, and what better time to be here than right now? We look around, we see each other, and we know that we came here to stand together in unity, to support each other in our ongoing quest to make a place for women at the table. Actually, what we're really doing is rearranging the table. The traditional table was like a rectangular table, right? With the big man at the head. Well, we're getting rid of that table. We're coming in with the women, and our table is round. It's inclusive, regardless of skin tone, gender, or sexual orientation. We recognize that we must speak as one if we're to get where we want to be. We were quiet for way too long. We feel a sense of urgency to speak up and speak out. No doubt some of us are considered to be the wayward woman in our family, right? Any wayward women? Yes. That's a good thing. And we don't have time to worry about that. It's our time to let our light shine. A woman's light is what the world needs, and we don't have time to allow anyone to slow us down. We welcome all of you men who have joined us today. We appreciate your support. We know you have and will continue, thank you, and continue to help our voices be heard. But just a message, if you can't do that, no worries. Please just get out of our way. We each have our own reason for being here. But bottom line, we all want something better for our children, our families, our friends, our community, our world, and ourselves. If we are to make a difference in our justice system, our community, well, the only way we can do it is to follow the NAACP guide, forward together, not one step back. We can't change where we have been, but we can change where we're going. I believe we can do so much more if we all work together. We can make Wilmington a better place for everyone. One positive thing we can do is help Wilmington become an international city of peace. Asheville did this a few years ago, and their primary goal was to nurture a culture of peace and nonviolence in their city. As they put it, we work to promote peace and justice in relationships, locally and globally, among people, with nature, and within ourselves. I really can see us adopting that and bringing our city into the light as a city of peace. And I think we're gonna have some help. As a city of peace, we can join hands with groups like Kids Making It and Dreams to get some peace poles put up around our community. As a city of peace, we can make more effort in connecting with each other. As a city of peace, we can take incremental steps in moving away from who we were and into who we can be. I will remind once again, every time I come up here, I'll continue to remind you that even the smallest light shines in the dark. Be that light. Come join our Grandmothers for Peace group. We would love for you to share your light with ours. Oh, what a powerful light that would be. Peace, and thank you.
You are fantastic. I would like to know that the work of Grandmothers for Peace continues every day, and she does not let up. Thank you, Lynn, for your work. Now, I'm going to bring to you someone that is from my vintage and someone that did the same kind of work as I. First of all, protesting the Vietnam War. I was a main protester, all right? Even though my husband was in the Air Force, he kept saying to me, "You're gonna get me fired and kicked out of the Air Force." And I said, "We just go different ways and I don't even know who you are." But I led the marches throughout Cambridge, Massachusetts, and all over with women at that time to bring our troops home. Now, I've just became acquainted with someone today that did the same thing in California. Someone that has been active with NOW, NAACP, ACLU, Democracy in North Carolina. Someone that supports many organizations, not only with just calling, but writing a check. Someone that knows that organizations need money to survive. Someone that does not give up for income equality, conditions that have to be removed. Someone that is aware of the social justice issues right here in Wilmington, showing up for Martin Luther King Parade, showing up to speak to you today in the Women's March. And she was a union rep. You can imagine the force she had behind her. A union rep for teachers in Compton, California. So she was really fighting the causes. Without further ado, it is my honor, my pleasure to welcome Margaret Armstrong, a woman after my own heart.
Good afternoon, Wilmington. I'm Margaret Armstrong. I'm an advocate, a volunteer, and a member of the Speakers Bureau with Planned Parenthood South Atlantic. We are so proud to once again join our progressive partners for this year's rally to further our fight for equity and justice. Let's face it, it's been a long 2 years since the presidential inauguration of 2017. But remember what happened the next day? Hundreds of thousands of people across the country, across the world, and right here in Wilmington, linked arms to participate in the largest mobilization this country has ever seen. We joined forces in that first Women's March because we knew then what we know today. We all have a stake in protecting and expanding sexual and reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights, racial equity, immigrant rights, disability rights, and beyond. But we knew that marching wasn't enough. Marching alone wasn't going to build the future we wanted for ourselves and our families. So we marched, and then we got to work. We educated, we organized, we ran for office, and we won. And I don't have to tell you that representation matters, because when women When women win, we all win. So let's fast forward to the 2018 midterm election. We saw historic gains in congressional representation by women, people of color, LGBTQ, and younger candidates. As a result of that election, we now have 25 women in the Senate, an all-time in U.S. history, and a record-breaking 103 women in the House of Representatives, including the first Muslim American women, the first Native American women, and the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. But despite record numbers of women nationwide running and winning public office, we know that our fight doesn't end here. The fact that women make up half the population and more than half of registered voters, women still only make up 1/4 of the U.S. House and Senate. Not 24 hours after women across the country voted to put more reproductive health champions into the U.S. Congress, the new Trump-Pence administration launched multiple direct attacks on women's health care and rights, taking aim at abortion coverage and even birth control, allowing virtually any employer to deny their workers access to contraception based on that employer's personal belief. It's a travesty. It is a travesty that in 2019 we are still fighting for access to birth control and safe and legal abortion. That we are still fighting for women to be able to access affordable, basic health care from a provider that she knows and trusts. And yet the attacks on Planned Parenthood and Medicaid funding keep coming. Let's be clear. Birth control is basic health care for women. 9 in every 10 women in America will use some form of birth control in her life. 1 in 4 women in America will make the deeply personal decision to end a pregnancy at some point in her life. And 1 in 5 women will utilize the services, compassionate and affordable services offered at Planned Parenthood sometime during her life. So this is why we keep fighting, even as the attacks pile on in the midst of an dystopian and often really confusing news cycle. Because the future of our families, our countries, and our lives depend on it. And despite too many politicians' attempts to deny access to care and to defund and discredit Planned Parenthood, it is absolutely worth celebrating the powerful collective determination and power of crowds like this one across the country and the world who have stood by us as we proudly and resolutely serve every person who comes through our doors. On behalf of Planned Parenthood, I just lost my space. There we go. There's so much to say and not enough time to say it. Okay, on behalf of Planned Parenthood and the thousands of women, men, and young people that we serve each year, thank you. As we stand here today, America has spoken not just in recent elections, but at marches, rallies, lobby days, through millions of calls, letters, petitions to elected officials. When it comes to women's health care, not only does America overwhelmingly support access to birth control and abortion, but also Planned Parenthood. We all stand on the right side of justice, and we have only just begun to fight. We have not only started to change the face of power in our legislative bodies, the face of power in our movement is changing too, and it's changing for the better. We have learned important lessons from sister movements like Me Too and Black Lives Matter. Centering the voices of women whose lived experiences are at the root causes we fight has now never been more important. Without lifting these women up, we will never truly fight for all. We are making progress, but there is still so much to do to honor those experiences in our collective lives. At Planned Parenthood, we welcome the opportunity to work in deeper partnership with our allies and the communities we serve, and to be a fierce advocate for the people of North Carolina as we continue the fight for basic access to health care and health education. And yes, with you by our side, we will take this incredible momentum all the way to 2020 into the streets, into the halls of power, and into the voting booth. Forward together, not one step back.
Okay, thank you for your work, Ms. Armstrong. Margaret has been at it for a long time and continues, and we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Now, it's time for a little relaxation. All right? And I'm going to introduce someone that hails from Las Vegas. Someone that has 10 years to pursue an education in film and video, someone that writes music, someone that plays lots of instruments, and she performs around town. She even performs at the airport. The rock band is called Some Are Travelers. And with that said, I would like to bring to you Sydney. All right, Sydney, come on down and let's do your thing here, honey. All right.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out to this great event. I'm so glad to have a community that supports such great values. I'll play a couple songs that I wrote for you guys.
Trees only come alive when you light them up. I'm a sucker for the sunset and the stars. I wanna see it all. I wanna see it all. Come and watch with me. spend our whole life wasting our time. But just how far are you willing to go? Just how long are you willing to hold on? Just how far are you willing to go? And how long are you willing to hold on? Who are you willing to hold on? 'Cause we can stay all night, so I can see the sunrise in your eyes. Yeah, we can stay all night, so I can see the sunrise in your eyes. So when they leave me, I think I found the missing piece that is fitting perfectly in between you and me. Oh, between you and me. Thank you, thank you. Tell you I'm not like the rest. I would take two to the chest before I ever made you feel second best. Oh dear, I'm here. I know the world can get a little crazy, but baby, I'm not lazy. When it comes to you, because it's true. Sometimes I don't know what to do, but I promise you, we shouldn't always have to lose. We should have the right to choose whatever makes us happy. Sometimes life isn't fair. Sometimes it feels like nothing there. But if it's not you, I do not care. Oh, I do not care. You see, you snuck into my mind. I do not try to fight it, because I've learned there's nothing more worth fighting for than what you've given me. Just keep in mind, I know it's hard, but please try to understand why you're so much more than the credit that you have been given. I'm willing to bet there's someone who upsets your fragile mind, but mine is fractured too, and I bruise so easily. But I'm willing to believe in me again and take a chance on the unknown. And know you're not alone. Would you join me? Would you join me? Would you join me? Would you? Sometimes life isn't fair. Sometimes it feels like nothing there. Oh, but if it's not you, do not care. Oh, if it's not you, I do not care. Oh, if it's not you, I do not care. Oh, would you join me? Join me.
Girls rock.
Thanks. All right. Let's move on now to the environment. This young woman has been involved with environmental issues in Wilmington for a long time. She started doing research with the river in 2013. She received her BS in marine biology and chemistry from UNCW. A lot of freshwater conservation management issues she focused on. She has an eye on the river and the harmful elements that are threatening our water supply. The water that you put into your mouth every day, the water that you cook with, the water that you take a bath with, all of these water issues Maddie Pollara is involved with. She has been funded and she is supported by the Water Keepers Alliance. In 2017, Maddie organized the Wilmington March for Science. She's a strong advocate for environmental issues right here in Wilmington. Let's welcome Maddie Pollara. She's done remarkable work. I met her years ago at the university and she's continuing to work for the environment. Okay, Maddie, you're on.
How y'all doing? Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the Cape Fear group of the Sierra Club and March for Science. All right, and I really had a difficult time trying to figure out what I was going to come talk to y'all about. We had an entire march to try to figure out what I was going to talk about with you today. I couldn't figure out how to put the last year into a thought or an emotion. What I could do, and then hang with me, is put it into a concept. And that's called a feedback loop. Now, a feedback loop is a process where a stimulus sets off a chain reaction, and each successive step reacts to the previous with some direction and magnitude. When each cycle decreases, and the response to the next step, that's called a negative feedback. Now, negative feedback loops help to balance systems and return it to homeostasis. But when each iteration causes an intensification in response, that's a positive feedback. Now, those feedback loops are sewn all the way into life. One of the few positive feedbacks in the human body is the release of oxytocin during childbirth, when contractions stimulate the body to move away from its present state into something more unstable. Positive feedback loops also cause fruit to ripen and blood to clot after an injury. Positive feedback loops are why scientists are predicting the world will end in 12 years if we do not address climate change. Now, hurricanes, droughts, fires, floods, deadly ice storms, mass extinction, what else is it going to take? Still, everywhere I look, my colleagues are about to star in their own movie where a scientist gets ignored and all hell breaks loose. Now, me personally, I think Emma Watson might really like Wilmington, but because of this willful ignorance across scientific disciplines, I am angry. I am so angry. We've witnessed a natural disaster fueled by unnatural production, made worse now by environmental catastrophes that could have been prevented. Events that amplify the growing inequality and injustices of our society. There are people and industries that had the responsibility to plan for the environment to strike back. They failed. Our paradigms failed, our systems failed. And for everything that we know about how these stories have gone, the risks involved, the gains expedited, and the processes implicated, the havoc was practically invited in, summoned by greed, carelessness, and neutrality. Proactively passing laws to ignore or silence science is not an accident. It's deliberate, it's calculated, and it's wrong. doesn't have to be this way. I'm proud to live in a city that knows we deserve better than policies that not only allow but incentivize ignorance of climate systems. I have been so proud of how this city has spoken up. This has to be it. Environmental injustices can't get brushed to the side of state roads. Laws need to protect people and the environment because environmental issues are issues of public health and safety. It will cost us the money that was saved by the companies profiting by making these waters dangerous to make these waters safe again. Every dead fish, every wrecked ecosystem, every ruined life needs to mean something today. We have to stop simply responding and actively work to prioritize the land we're renting. We need a paradigm shift. But how can we start addressing the threat if those that make the policies won't even say the words, radical climate change? There are ways that we can control how screwed we are. The divestment movement is growing. We must push companies and corporations to move away from investing in fossil fuels right now. UNC system students are actively campaigning for the state school system to do just that. Renewable energy is on the rise. More than 100 cities and counties across the country have committed to transitioning to 100% clean industry. How about you, ILM? Transportation, the biggest source of carbon pollution, is headed in the right direction with more efficient carbon limiting emission standards. And we're winning in the courts. To hold fossil fuel companies accountable, from West Coast crab fishermen to Lucia in the Andes Mountains to the 47 fossil fuel companies being investigated right now for human rights by the Human Rights Commission. And then there's all of you. The grassroots opposition to science-denying, logic-defying policy brewed into the historic election of women and people of color to the House of Representatives. Now something can actually get done. The political winds are shifting. Youth are rising like the sea and justice is coming. And this is a feedback loop that I can get on board with. Thank you.
Our next guest, and really she's a partner because she loves to perform. She is someone that has a BFA in speech and communication, and she is a poet, she's a performer. She knows the stage. She lived in Puerto Rico for some time. She touched the soul of the Puerto Ricans. She loves to sing. She has 2 dogs that even sings with her from time to time. She does wonderful work. So let me see what she's going to produce for us today, Roxanne. You better come on down here, girlfriend. Where's, I thought that was Roxanne Moore there. Where's all right, Roxanne. All right.
I'll be lecturing all these performers after this is over.
All right, all right. So now let me introduce to you again Roxanne Moore. Thank you for coming today. Wow welcomes you.
This is a poem about a woman who's a victim of her circumstances. It was written in 1933. Deliria by Eva Stanton. I live in a room that is straight and bare, with rings on my hands and thorns in my hair, and I hear all night against my door the pounding hands of the days before. I dare not look from my window ledge. There are faces at the pane, fingers at the edge, and all night long and all day through, the hands beat hard in a weird tattoo. Let us in, let us in, let us in, let us in. We are sibs to your brothers, kin of your kin. We are starlight and sunlight and whispers of wind. We are leaves that are stirred. We are trees that are thinned. We are ferns in the rain. We are drops on the grass. We are slivers of fire and splinters of glass. We are thistles and saffron. We are moments, your moments. your whispers of red. We are silver and white. We are April and autumn and daybreak and night. We are moments that dare you to live and forget. We are shadow and crystal and cheeks that are wet. We are silence and stillness of shimmering seas. We are teardrops and songs from the tops of the trees. We are willows a toss on the breast of a storm, and quiet and darkness and lips that are warm. We are yours and you want us. The soul of you calls. We will creep in the chinks. We will break down the walls. We will slip in the windows and pour down the flue. We will rise in your heart. We are coming to you. And I, in my place, sit and tremble within. We are sibs of your brothers, kin of your kin. We are violets and cattails and ribbons and lace. We are thorns to your finger and silk to your face. We are moments, your glimpses of red. We are arms that are dust and lips that are dead. And I, in my room that is empty and bare, strip rings from my fingers, thorns from my hair, sink to my knees with an anguish that cries, deafen your ears, put out your eyes, words that are slender, words that are dear, you must not see, you must not hear. Oh, and I tremble. Oh, and I fall, stuff up the cracks, build up the wall, labor and labor with fingers that bleed. Let the drops fall, pay them no heed. Put out the lights, pull in the shutters, close up your ears to the spirit that mutters. Oh, but they come. Oh, but they clamor. Gather up nails, pick up the hammer, nail the frames down to the floor, to the sills. They fill up the valleys. They ravish the hills. Oh, they are coming. Oh, they are calling. Down from the roof they are tumbling, falling down, down. Keep your control. Stop up your heart. Jam up your soul. Let us forget. Let us remember. Breezes are March. Snow is November. Flowers are April. Leaves are in fall. Oh, does it matter at all? At all. Let me be calm. Let me be still. Oh, let me rest on the breast of a hill. One moment, a minute of quiet. Then I will answer this mob, this riot. No, but they beat. No, but they scream. Give me my rest. Give me my dream. Let me be silent. Give me my task. Is it so little? So little to ask? No, but they crush. No, but they call. Let the roof break. Let the house fall. Let in the pains. Let in the song. I have been silent too long. Too long I have been still. Now let me speak. I have been quiet. I have been weak. Break down the door. Burst in the bars. I would chant to the moon. I will shriek to the stars. Thank you.
Wow says thank you, because we are really wow with that. Okay. Now, I am going to introduce someone to you that came to Wilmington in 2017 with her boots on the ground running, with her energy all in tow, knowing that she was ready to make the difference that we needed right here in Wilmington. At a time when the YWCA was yearning for leadership, she said, I can do it, and I will show you how I can do it. Sharice Hart came to us from Greensboro, North Carolina, and she was the program coordinator for the Healthy Beginning program. She helped that organization in such a way that she was the chief operating officer. I mean, that's moving up pretty quickly there. And she helped them to maintain financial stability. Women, the financial stability of women. That's the group that she targeted, because the YWCA's mission is women and girls and children. Cherise Hart does not come empty-handed. She comes with her degrees. She has a bachelor's degree in sociology from North Carolina State, a master's degree from Chapel Hill, and an MBA from Wake Forest. But now, the part that I really like is she sits on the board of visitors for North Carolina A&T, my favorite school, that has made a difference in the lives of so many Black Americans that live right here in Wilmington. A school that I'm involved with by going many times a year just to be on the grounds. She's also part of the Dr. King 50-year Commemoration Commission and the capital campaign for the United Way of the Cape Fear area. United Way of the Cape Fear area. That's a good one. I rely on them to give services, money to many organizations in Wilmington. Before joining the YWCA in 2017, she had organized so many initiatives all over the state. And the part that I like is that the annual operating budget for YMCA has increased by 20%, 25%, and the numbers that she serves, that's the part that I like. How many do you serve? It has increased to almost 9,000 people. Another thing that I can leave here with, knowing that I was involved with, and I was sitting there judging, and I felt so proud to be one of the judges. And everyone said, wow, like our wow. She was recognized as the 2018 Woman to Watch nonprofit, and the reward went to her from Wilma Magazine. I was proud to be part of that effort. With that said, come on, Sarah. I have my pink and green hat today for the oldest Black sorority in the United States. And she is one of my Sarahs. All right, so come on down. And before I say that, I say it once more, remember women leaders, women leaders. Remember GLOW. Remember the Girls Leadership School right here in Wilmington. We're looking for applications. They will make that difference. Another woman leader. Here she is, Cherise Hart.
Dolores, thank you for the very thorough introduction. I appreciate it. So, my message to you today is about diversity, inclusion, and the advocacy of all women as it pertains to gender equality. Earlier this week, I read a controversial social media post that stated, "While women march the streets for rights that they already have, allow me to applaud a way of life that has honored women in a way the rest of the world never has." She continued with saying that she's proud to be a part of the silent, steadfast women of rural America. Despite what the author of that social media post says, gender equality is a basic human right, and until it is achieved with all women, we will not be silent, and we will keep fighting the good fight. The women of the world are watching. If we remain soundless and refuse to advocate for our mothers, our daughters, grandmothers, sisters, and our future leaders, regardless of their race, sexual orientation, religion, ethnicity, age, disability, and marital status, we will not win. Our march today does not represent one sole issue. Instead, it is comprised of diverse and complex experiences shaped by repeated historical patterns of disempowerment. And that's just our national struggle. However, we must remember that there is a need to advocate for our sisters on a global scale. According to the United Nations, women make up more than 2/3 of the world's 800 million people disadvantaged by illiteracy. Every year, 12 million girls are married before their 18th birthday. Globally, 1 in 5 girls becomes a mother before that age. And did you know that pregnancy is consistently among the leading causes of death for girls ages 15 through 19 worldwide? So therefore, I say to you again, that women of the world are watching us. They need us, and equally, we need their support. If we ignore them, we are merely denying ourselves while feeding the misconception that our work is finished. Across the globe, women face a variety of setbacks. So I challenge you to this simple task. When women call on us to help, let's just do it. When we empower women, it in turn helps all people to thrive and succeed. I stand here today to say that the largest and the oldest women's organization in the world, the YWCA, and our mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all is embedded in 160 years of adversity, truth, and compassion. Our mission-driven work will continue to improve the lives of all girls and women through racial justice and civil rights, economic advancement, health, and safety. So to the woman who stated in her social media post that she will not be bothered to march for rights that we somehow already have, I will say that I respect your freedom to choose how you will or will not use your voice that, by the way, someone once advocated for you to have. But I challenge you to consider whether or not the we to which you are referring is inclusive of all women. I can probably bet it is not intended for women who look like me. I bet it isn't intended for the black teen who stated her high school dance team told her that she was too dark to perform. I can also bet that it wasn't intended to include the woman who gave birth in a vegetative state who was unable to give consent with the presumed rights that the social media user claimed that she already has. The late Dorothy Height, civil rights activist and key leader with the YWCA movement, stated, "We're all in the same boat now, and we've got to learn to work together." So, until social justice and gender equality is achieved locally, nationally, and globally, the march for rights that we already have will just keep on keeping on. And why? Because in the words of one of my favorite authors and activists, Melissa Harris Perry, the struggle continues. So let's keep marching. Thank you.
So Miss Sandra Lee has 42 years of experience as a professional educator in the public school system of San Francisco, New Orleans, and North Carolina. In addition, she has been a longtime activist in progressive causes for social, racial, economic justice since 1972. She's a union member of UESF and AFL-CIO. Currently, Lee is an active member of SAGE, Stand Up for Racial Justice, and the LGBTQI community of Wilmington. Thank you, and welcome, Ms. Sandra Lee.
Hi. UESF stands for United Educators of San Francisco. It's a conglomerate union that was formed between the AFT and the NEA. It's its only kind in the country, and it's affiliated with the AFL-CIO, and we march and we fight, and we've gone on strike twice since I was a member back in 1973. And it's a marvelous place to work under union rules. I've worked 6 years outside of union rules, and I can tell you it's a whole nother world. Okay, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Sandra Lee, and I am speaking to you as a representative of SAGE, Services and Advocacy for GLBT Seniors, which in Wilmington is a sponsored project of the Frank Haar Foundation. I also work with SURGE, Showing Up for Racial Justice, and as mentioned, I've been in public school educator for 42 years and a fighter for social justice a little bit longer. SAGE is a national advocacy and services organization that's been looking out for LGBT elders since 1978. We build welcoming communities and keep our issues in the national conversation to ensure a fulfilling future for all LGBT people. We are in serious trouble in this country today. In fact, we are facing a true national emergency. A right-wing conservative agenda is not just represented in our government at the highest places. It is being organized in local, state, and federal courtrooms, in hidden policies that change with a dash of the pen instead of an open conversation and discussion. In many religious church organizations and services. And people of color face outrageous, organized, historical, ongoing threats to the quality of life in America. Women face an assault on reproductive freedom and the basic standard of living. Immigrants are being hunted across generations of citizenship. The LGBT community is facing growing discrimination and rollbacks of what only recently we have gained and recognized through the courts. The transgender community is facing unprecedented and relentless attacks under our current administration. The intersectionality of our struggles for equality, safety, and decent standards of living intersect with race, class, nationhood, and gender. And we are all in this national emergency. I want to highlight a little bit of what it means to be LGBT elders. Invisibility and isolation leads to neglect and abuse. And there are no more invisible people than old lesbians and gays and gender, if I don't have it written down, I don't know what I'm saying. That's one of the problems of being an elder. Gender fluid. When it comes to being elderly, the communities that we go to for service, 84% of the nonprofit continuing care retirement communities are religiously affiliated, and they are turning us away in record numbers. LGBT elders in turn to religiously affiliated organizations to provide a majority of the services they need for their most basic needs. As the doors shut in our face, the emergency increases. We have had some successes, I have to tell you. SAGE will soon make history when it opens 2 LGBT-friendly, affordable housing developments in New York City. 880 apartments. But we need more. There's certainly more than 880 of us in this country. We need visibility for our special needs. Everyone deserves to grow old with dignity and respect and a little bit of happiness. SAGE matters. We will not be invisible. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra Lee. Okay, Delthea. Up next is Delthea Simmons, one of my favorite people ever. She's an author of 3 books. I personally own all 3 of them. She's a spoken word artist, poet, screenwriter, playwright, actress, activist, and professional outside agitator. You can actually witness some of that on her Facebook page if you want to befriend her and watch the action. It's actually hilarious. Delthea was a girl raised in the South and now is a woman living there and loving every minute of it. Everybody welcome Delthea.
You want me to take this one?
Yes.
Because that was not good.
No, it's good. It's just to the side here in the center.
Okay. All right. How y'all are? I have two pieces for you today. The first one, since I came up here after my friend, it's about our elders, and it's called Keeping Heaven. Old women of the porches and windows and the metal chairs beneath the front yard shade trees. They laugh like ancient children, or maybe angels in the vestry hiding cigarettes from the saints. They sit and shell beans and strip greens and talk schemes and remember dreams, and in the pauses in between, the silence fills with knowing, waiting to be spoken, when the quiet broken births stories of the old times. In the evenings, beneath the street light, the security light, the porch light, the moonlight, these sages of the ages, of rages of youth and truth, and growing, resurrect the dead and make live again our people gone before. We little ones sit and hear about the time the twins were born and died, all between a single dusk and dawn. The Cadillac James Jr. drove from New York and scandalized the white folk. When Aunt Adelaide graduated university on money her papa made working turpentine between harvest and planting times. Colors painted of the birthings and weddings and dyings and fallings and risings, in the words of lives lived, whispered, shouted, sung, laughed, played, and prayed. All from the old ladies of porches and windows and metal chairs. The women we thought just watched the world. The women who were keeping heaven. The librarians of the people, of the times, of the places that made us who and what we are. Now it is we who sit and shell beans and strip greens and talk schemes and remember dreams. And now we understand. The ways of the womanhood. Girlhood end comes with bloody rags and labored pains of the womanhood being born. The learning comes with white-haired women speaking tongues of wisdom over basins of half-shelled peas and beans on summer porches in the cooling afternoon. It comes sitting on city stoops with your mama speaking through barrettes, held firm in teeth while braiding hair and spinning tails and assuring you that to be foretold is to be forewarned. It comes from choir and congregation and the sweet salvation of blessed assurance and knowing we've just a little while to stay here. The earning comes with sugar talk from honeyed lips, graceless hands of youth that roam your body seeking treasure, and the heartbreak of seeing the other girl standing in your stead while passers-by talk behind their hands and stare with pity and high school cruelty. The burning comes with uninvited touches as much as unappreciated, depreciated words spoken in broken tongues of objectification, remediation, subjugation, and suffocation. And in that fire comes the divination of revelation, the sure and certain knowledge that I will survive, I will thrive, I will flourish. Yes, there will be heartache and heartbreak. Yes, there will be thieves and batterers and every other ne'er-do-well. Yes, there will be mourning and wailing and gnashing of teeth. but also there is sweet relief in knowing I am not alone. For I walk in the ways of the womanhood. I have hands to help me, arms to hold me, and the wisdom of the ages to abide within me. Like those who came before me, like those who stand beside me, like those who will follow me, we are the womanhood. We will protect ourselves and our own, and we will do it until the end of time.
I told you she was good. Catherine Conlon, I love this young woman, is a 15-year-old sophomore at New Hanover High School. She's one of 3 co-directors of the March for Our Lives Wilmington, a student-led movement in favor of stronger gun violence prevention measures. Yes, I love hearing that feedback. See, girl? Told you were bad. Let's see. She was instrumental in organizing the really massive march last spring that brought thousands in the community to this very spot to tell our legislators, no, not one more. More books, not bullets. Thoughts and prayers are not enough, not one more. So here's Catherine. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hey guys. All right, so as everyone knows, last weekend we celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day. While some may see this as just a 3-day weekend, this holiday represents the life and legacy of a man who not only brought hope and healing to America, but paved the way for peace in our country. Reverend King once said, "I came to the conclusion that there is an existential moment in your life when you must decide to speak for yourself. Nobody else can speak for you." On February 14th, 2018, I, along with hundreds of thousands of people, realized this to be true. February 14th, 2018, the day of the Parkland shooting, was that crucial moment for us when we made the decision to speak for ourselves that enough is enough. And it is time for action. Many people say that we're too young to understand how the world really works, that we're too young to be involved and too young to make a difference. There is some truth in what they say. We are too young to hug our mothers goodbye in the morning and have a voice in the back of our heads saying that we might never see her again. Too young to need to make our voices heard because we are tired of watching our friends die in our classrooms. It is our turn to speak, our turn to fight, our turn to bring about the change we so desperately need. My generation is the first and will be the last to text our brothers and sisters, "There's a lockdown at school right now. I don't think it's a drill. Tell mom I love her." For too long, we have watched the adults in charge offering up thoughts and prayers instead of actually doing something. This is not enough. My generation is the change. We will write bills, lobby for change, and continue to vote out the representatives that won't fight for us. I won't be able to vote in the next election, but many of you will. Please stand with us and join the fight for our lives. Thank you.
Oh, I love Catherine. Isn't she lovely? All right, Lindsay. We got Lindsay Lake is a MFA candidate at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington in poetry. She was born in St. Louis, and Lindsay recently moved to Wilmington from Denver, Colorado. She is a leader of 350 Wilmington, an organization directed in presenting key ways we can all get involved in local climate change action. And Lindsay, naturally, is a lover of all things nature. Let's hear what she has to say. Come on up, babe.
Lindsay!
It's okay, my last name is pretty close to Blake, so everything's fine. Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Lake. I'm here to read you some poems, but first I just want to talk a little bit about 350 Wilmington. We are a very new group here in Wilmington, but an old group internationally. So if you're interested in getting involved with climate action around Wilmington and UNCW, we have a UNCW chapter as well that just formed. Please look for us on Facebook. We're the one with 10 likes. So Yeah, and you can talk to me after if you're interested as well. But we have some really cool actions coming up, including dropping a petition at a local office of a legislator, and that'll be happening the first week of February, so it'll be really cool. All right, so I'm going to start reading you poems. The first one is about my birth control, because I think that's important to talk about. It's called Intrauterine Device or Improvised Explosive Device. When I tell Jimmy I am getting an IUD, he thinks I mean IED, that I am replacing my fear of toes growing inside me with roadside bombs. That is to say, he thinks I'm becoming a warrior. The day before, I eat an egg yolk for breakfast and only taste blood. I think I will cry when the nurse holds my hand. She gives me ibuprofen and says most women cannot stand after. It is then that I see an infantry of women whose backs have pressed against this same table, dressed in white and legs splayed, birthing a new kind of pain, not afraid to let it explode through their bodies into the hallway. Jimmy was not wrong about IEDs, but he did not see the full picture. How could he? He will never be on this table. He will never feel the still before the blast. Thank you. Woo! Woo! So wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. My next one is kind of maybe a weird one. I grew up watching Sex and the City, especially in high school. That was my favorite show, and it was just such a great thing for me to watch at the time, I think. But a lot of young girls, I don't know, they're not really watching Sex and the City, and I think that's probably for the best, and maybe a good thing or a positive thing. I don't know. Not judging either way, but anyways, I wrote a Sex and the City poem, and so, yeah. It's called I Couldn't Help But Wonder. I will never be Carrie Bradshaw, and this is not a Sex and the City rerun. There is no Aiden, no Big to curl up next to me at night, to make me wooden chairs or pour honey into my ears. I do not have a shoe addiction. There is no white tutu in my closet loudly waiting. No one has ever told me you are too beautiful to be a writer. This life is not a television show, and Kelsey is not Charlotte, Haley is not Miranda, Tara is not Samantha. But oh, how we long to be. How as Carrie's and Charlotte's, Miranda's and Samantha's long to always have time for Sunday brunch and an endless revolving door of men. How we long to be more beautiful, eccentric, spunky, enigmatic than we already are. So I write this poem at night after another romantic encounter I cannot understand, and talk to myself as if someone is listening, secretly filming. I wear a sexy, nondescript robe, Malona Blahnik heels, and typo every little thing I think I know about men, love, sex, women, and what it means to join my friends as we drown our city in wine kisses. I wake up without a headache, without purple stains on my lips, and the words I wrote sound perfect. I make no edits, and I do not cry over drafts that will never be printed. Thank you. Okay, and so my last one is maybe in the same vein. I was thinking a lot about role models and like what role models the girls today are growing up with, and you know, they're watching millions of women marching together on TV, and like that's just incredible, and there's just so much power behind that, and I'm just really proud and glad that we're continuing it here in Wilmington as well, even after the election, you know. So I was at the Women's March in DC back, you know, all the way back then. So I just wanted to write a poem about that and kind of how I felt about it. So it doesn't have a title yet. I'll just launch into it. When he gets elected, I too am violated. I hug my friends goodbye and tell them about my fear of bombs, noxious gases, gatherings of large people in large places. I tell them I think I'm going to die. They say the march is too innocent for that. Who would want to kill innocent women and children? See, some people don't understand the power we provoke, how we can start wars with a single look, rule the world without credit, grow a whole body inside of us and sometimes not know it. Some people don't understand that when vampires suck innocent blood, they become stronger. In the airport, I write a goodbye letter to my mom, but cannot find the words to say, I cannot help it. This march is stronger than me or anyone else. See, when a woman flicks the pavement, she can trigger a seismic wave. See, when millions of women gather in one place, there is no stopping the landslide. That's it. Thank you all.
All right, Lindsay Lake. So guess what? I found Blake. She found a jacket, and you want to come on up, babe? You ready? Awesome. Blake is a senior at UNC at Wilmington, pursuing a bachelor's degree in film studies. She's always had a passion for the arts, singing and performing included, and performed at the Wilmington's Women's March last year. Blake plans to continue performing around Wilmington until she graduates, and then she's going to see where life takes her. I love the fact that we have all these UNCW students. I went to UNCW. I think it's a great school. Glad everybody's coming out. Yeah. Woo!
You could come by. Somebody broke the tacos. Somebody started on the start the narcos off by episode 1. Bring the gin to the juice. Bring the swing to that too. Just shut up, no, you're my favorite. Am I warm enough for you? Outside, baby, yeah. Warm enough for you. Inside me. Warm enough for you. Outside, baby. Yeah, warm enough outside, inside me. I get so lonely, I forget what I'm worth. We get so lonely, we pretend that this works. I'm so ashamed myself, think I need therapy. I'm sorry I'm not more attractive. I'm sorry I'm normally like I'm sorry I don't show my legs anymore. I'm sorry you're not your baby mama. I'm sorry you got kinda coming to you like you so you did me. Warm enough for you, outside baby, yeah. Warm enough for you, inside me. Warm enough for you, outside baby, yeah. Warm enough outside, inside me.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. And the next song I'm probably gonna do is Dreams. I did it last year, and I just love it so much, and I just think it's fitting, I guess. But yeah, if you know the words, sing along.
Listen carefully to the sound. The loneliness of a heartbeat drives you mad, or the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost and what you had. Oh, and what you lost. Only happens when it's raining. Players only love you in that way, yeah. I say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. what you lost. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. I say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. You will know. You will know. You will know. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so I did find another speaker. We've got Katrina Knight. She moved to Wilmington in 2004 to serve as Executive Director of Good Shepherd Center. In this role, she oversees fundraising efforts, program development, and service delivery of Good Shepherd's many programs, including a soup kitchen, day and night shelters, medical clinic, and transitional living centers for homeless veterans. Katrina served on the board of the NC Coalition to End Homelessness for 3 years and is currently on the advisory board of the Cape Fear Region's 10-year plan to end homelessness. Y'all help me welcome Katrina Knight. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. I appreciate the invitation to join you all today. Like you, I care deeply about so many different issues that are facing our community, our country, our world, and it can be a bit overwhelming. At Good Shepherd, just several blocks south of here, we're about a lot of things. You may know about our soup kitchen or food salvage efforts, and so of course we talk a lot about how we might do better battling hunger, not just in our neighborhood, but throughout the area. And we have day and night shelters for homeless individuals and families, along with a medical clinic and supportive services. So we spend a lot of our time educating the community about crisis intervention services for the homeless. But today I'd like to pay special attention to a different but related issue, affordable housing. Why affordable housing? Because while it's tempting to see homelessness as a character flaw or defining feature of a person, it's not. Homeless is a housing status, not a personality trait. Because at Good Shepherd, we'll serve over 800 homeless folks this year. Veterans and senior citizens, persons with disabilities, single moms and dads with their children, newborns straight from the hospital with their families. As diverse a group as you will find anywhere. And the one thing, the only thing they will all have in common is the struggle to find and hold on to rental housing that fits their modest budgets. Why affordable housing? Because when parents send their kids to school hungry, they're not doing it to be cruel. And when the senior doesn't buy her medications or skips doses to stretch her prescriptions further, she knows she may be compromising her health. But once these folks pay for rent and utilities, 50%, 75%, sometimes more than 90% of their income, there just isn't anything left over for other needs. What might look like poor choices from the outside are the strategies for surviving life in Wilmington, North Carolina. Because we live in a community where our quality of life rests on a service-driven economy. The store employees, office workers, CNAs, we all rely on them, who earn $8, $9, $10 an hour. But when anyone proposes developing housing that would be affordable to these folks, we rally and we say, no, not those people, not in my neighborhood, not in my backyard. Why affordable housing? Because in Greater Wilmington, you need to earn more than $16 an hour to afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment. An individual receiving just disability assistance can only afford monthly rent of about $225. Raise your hand if you've seen an apartment that's $225 and is decent for a person to live in our community. Why affordable housing? Because elected officials here have started referring to $1,000 a month condos as affordable.
because the estimated shortage of affordable rental units isn't in the hundreds here, but in the thousands, potentially as high as 10,000. That's the gap we are facing. Because there's no better prevention of homelessness, housing crisis, than ensuring adequate numbers of housing units at all levels of income. And because we can't end veteran or senior or family homelessness without affordable rental housing to which they can transition. So if you care about childhood hunger, we need you to care about affordable housing. If you're concerned about the well-being of seniors and homeless veterans, we need you to care about affordable housing. If you feel that every resident of our region deserves a high quality of life, we need you to get fired up about affordable housing. Speak up, advocate, get behind efforts small and large that will add units of affordable housing in the city and in our counties, so that every neighbor has access to a decent and affordable roof over their head. That's a community to be proud of. That's the kind of place I want to live. And with your help, I don't see any reason why we can't make it happen. Thank you.
All right. We're so fortunate to have you who care so much. Thank you for helping our community. That was Katrina Knight. Okay. Did I forget anyone? All right, then we're going to wrap it up. And what we're going to do is have Laura McLean and her band Calamity come on out. Chris, I see you over there. Get you over here. What? But it wouldn't be a women's rally without Laura. She's the AKA guitar guru of the Lower Cape Fear. She's a teacher of at-risk youth, a veteran touring musician, and a longtime advocate for education and rights of women. She teaches multimedia arts and music at Dreams. We all love Dreams of Wilmington. Woohoo! And wears a stack of other hats. So she's going to play us off. Thank you so much for everybody attending and sticking it out to the end. And we love you all. Thank you.
There it is. Quickly. I would like to thank Wilmington's finest for hanging out with us. Horseback, wheeled, and on their own shoes. WPD, thank you. That hot polyester is the only thing, I don't know how you stand it. We're just gonna freestyle it. But all the people who were talking about water pollution today, and there were a lot of them, if y'all aren't including that thing right there in your health studies, you best do it. Check your UVs all the time. It's been super high. You watch your little dogs getting white in the face after 1.5 years or 2 years. It's not normal. Keep an eye on the UVs. It's a big part of everything. I have a donut sitting out. It's been there since 10:30 this morning. Not one thing has landed on it all day. Okay? Not one thing. Now, I don't think Wake and Bake is making poison because I have had a lot of them. But in addition to the sun, if you're worried about that water, people, you may as well worry about that cell phone too and all those EMFs. When you put yourself in between the Wi-Fi signal and your smart box on your house and you got your iPad there with your laptop and your phone's in one side, you're like sucking radiation. So think about that stuff, y'all. It's not just something that's just not harming anybody. And don't, you ladies who are pregnant, don't sit with all that stuff around you. It's just no good. Voice of experience. But since it was water, everybody was talking about, we'll start with some water thing.
song. Melting whiskey in my glass. I could have been asleep for more than 3 hours. Time to go to work again. Once more I beat the sunrise. There's a dark breeze at my door. There's water from the well to my face. How could I ever need me more? Long as there's water, chilly well water. Well, my horse's eyes are glassy. He breathed the city in his lungs last night. Led his natural body to the trough to regain his might. A red rooster crowed and blues here, baby. That old blue is round the blue. All the morning cries raise the sunrise. Hasn't rained for 3 weeks full. Long as there's water, chilly well water. Venus light is rising. I lay my buckets inside the shed. And there's a man I see, a stranger. Leaning on the gate outside my fence. Say I'm riding out from the city. Well, they started holding water back last night. Well, I can hope I can get a drink from your well. Or ride on to another city tonight. Or ride on to another city tonight. Chilly well water. Cool well. Water. The first picture ever taken of me as a baby, I was sitting on one of these stupid pylons right there with a bonnet suit on. Kind of weird. But what? Did you say louder? Or ladder? While I kiss the sky, purple haze all around. Don't know if I'm coming up or down. Am I happy or in misery? Whatever it is, them girls put a spell
China went. Yeah, I'm sure to go in. Violet hurts the skin against the teacher's room. Every time we had that day at school.
Tisket,
multitasking,
a green and yellow basket.
sent a letter to my baby. On my way I passed it. When we walk up in the piece, we ain't gotta eat cheese. We some bad mama jamas, I'ma tell you, ain't nobody that's got it like we. We been hugging them curves. Skirt! Did you hurt? Thank y'all for listening. Please be safe on your ride home. Thank you, Patrick Ogilvie. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, donut people.